Hi, I'm Misti Sporer with Duke Energy. I lead our avian protection program. And today I'm going to share a little bit about how we here at Duke Energy bring eagles and data together to give you better power.
Before we get started on the cool data science stuff, I want to give you a little bit of background about Duke Energy. We are a regulated electric utility company. You can see on the screen the map of our service territory along the Mid-Atlantic states, the Ohio River Valley, and Florida. We have 7.7 million residential, commercial, and industrial customers, and you can see the portfolio there of our traditional generation sources. We also have a renewable energy division, and you can see the map of the U.S. on the screen as well that showcases our solar sites, our wind sites, and our battery storage locations. There's a little bit of information on our stats there on the screen. I won't go into great detail, but we also have a natural gas division. But our footprint is wide. Duke Energy covers a lot of territory across the U.S., and we have many programs in place to protect threatened and endangered species, migratory birds, and bald and golden eagles. Today, I want to focus on our efforts on the bald and golden eagle front. For those of you that are not familiar with the two species of eagles that can be found in North America, you can see them up on the screen. The bald eagle and the golden eagle are our two big charismatic bird species. The bald eagle's range territory is to the right of the photo. You can see that bald eagles can be found pretty much throughout the U.S. The golden eagle is a little different. Their range map, of course, is to the right of their photo. And you can see that golden eagles are primarily a western species. These birds have some differences in the way they forage. Their ecological footprint is slightly different. They both have different hunting techniques that they employ. And that's important to understand as we begin to talk about how we can use data science to reduce the impacts of our operations on these two bird species. The first of the two projects I'm going to highlight for you today involves Duke Energy's service territory in Florida and the bald eagle. You can see from the slide that Duke Energy's service territory in blue overlaps with the known nesting locations for bald eagles within the state of Florida. Bald eagles are actually doing quite well in Florida. In 2018, there were over 1,500 breeding pairs in the state. Bald eagles are super canopy nesters, meaning their nests occur in the super top part of the canopy. They are typically selecting pine within the southeast. However, we have noticed an uptick in human structure preference for bald eagles that are raised on a nest on a human-built structure. Historically, all the nests within Florida were within about 2 miles of a major water body. So in the state of Florida, that's not impossible. There's water pretty much everywhere. But what we have noticed through time is that eagles have historically avoided human disturbance, but as their numbers have grown, their population has grown, and the need for nest locations has also pushed these birds into areas of more human disturbance. Today, we can now find nests within cell tower structures and on transmission structures in and around downtown Orlando and the Tampa Bay area. By having these eagles utilize nesting areas within human areas, we are increasing the risk of interaction between the built environment and these birds throughout their daily life cycle. So what are we at Duke Energy doing to reduce the risk of interaction with our system and bald eagles? We're using data science, of course. We are taking all kinds of excellent information and turning it into a very useful model within our GIS system. We're doing some raster math. We are combining lots of different data layers to help us make informed decisions about how we manage our infrastructure within the state. We are using system maps, LiDAR data, outage tracking data that comes from our system management, where we understand different types of outages. We have a code for wildlife and bird-induced outages. And so we utilize the bird data to help us understand where we are having these interactions. We're also using what I call the bird nerd data. That is eBird or other citizen science data, which helps us understand where bald eagle sightings are occurring. We also use biologist data throughout different projects across our service territory. We have biologist boots on the ground that are seeing eagles use certain types of habitat and in certain locations. And so we're also including that information within our model. We're using the Florida Wildlife Commission Eagle Data Nest set. and that is updated relatively routinely by a lot of volunteers across the state with Audubon. We are utilizing a habitat model that we developed using the information we know about eagle ecology. How do they like to nest? Where do they like to nest? What is the difference between a young pair and an older pair in terms of the nest habitat that they choose? What are their breeding ranges? What is their home defensibility range? And water, all of the data we have about water in the state of Florida. We combine all of this information and we do some modeling to develop what we call our heat map. And our heat map, you can see there in the lower right-hand corner, helps us understand where we have a higher incident of eagle interaction with our system or a higher likelihood of encountering eagles when we go to do routine maintenance activities. This includes things like vegetation management or placement of structures, or even the way we build structures across the landscape. So we're utilizing all of this data in a really slick way that allows us to make informed management decisions. The second project I want to highlight for you today deals with wind energy and golden eagles. You'll notice on the screen that there's a picture of a bald eagle. Unfortunately, I could not find a good photo of a golden eagle to share with you, but keep in mind I'm talking mostly about golden eagles for this section. You'll also notice on the screen that there is a wind power resource map for the state of Wyoming. Duke Energy has a wind site located to the northeast of Casper, Wyoming. You'll see that on the map. It's in the approximate pink-purple transition on that map. To the right of the wind power resource map, you'll also see golden eagle nesting territory map within the state of Wyoming. Our site is located at that transition period between the low probability brown and the higher probability blue. You'll also notice the little dots on the map. Those are known golden eagle nest locations. Wind turbine blades rotate at 120 plus miles an hour at the tip of the blade. This matters for golden eagles because they are thermal current wing hunters. That means golden eagles are using the warm air that's rising off of different surface features throughout the day to fly, to look down and hunt for their small mammal prey. These golden eagles are focused on finding their prey on the ground and not necessarily looking where they're going. Throughout the evolution of golden eagles, nothing in their environment has ever flown as fast as 120 miles an hour, and nothing usually flies within their flight path. So we do have a conflict with golden eagles flying through the rotor-swept area of wind sites. On this particular site in Wyoming, we have experienced golden eagle mortality. And in order to reduce that, because that is not something Duke Energy ever wants to have, we employed human observers. You'll notice in the photo there, a young man standing in our Eagle Watch Tower. This tower was built in order to allow observers a 360-degree view of the skies around our wind site. The idea was the observers would use their binoculars to detect eagles flying through the wind site. You can see the computers that they have there. Those computers are linked directly to our turbine control system. These observers would see a bird, detect a bird, determine whether or not it was an eagle, and go ahead and shut the turbine off where they believed the eagle to be flying through. However, humans are not incredibly efficient at this. It was a little bit of a delay in the process, up to 5 minutes sometimes, and we weren't able to shut those turbines down as fast as we like. So this is where data science comes in to save the day. Using artificial intelligence and machine learning, Duke Energy, in partnership with Identiflight, was able to pioneer an exciting new system utilizing 8 wide field of view stationary cameras and 1 stereoscopic camera to detect flying objects. Now that doesn't sound like maybe a huge advance in science, but what the camera does next is incredibly complicated and incredibly awesome. Identiflight's cameras altogether, those 8 wide field of view cameras, detect flying objects. When that camera sees a flying object, it zooms in to that object. Using machine learning and a complicated artificial intelligence algorithm, the camera system goes through a series of detections to determine whether or not that flying object is an eagle. If the camera system decides it is indeed seeing an eagle fly through the sky, the stereoscopic camera zooms in and begins to track and project that eagle's flight path. As it does that, it's also utilizing information that the system knows about the location of turbines on the landscape. If the camera system decides that the track of that eagle is in danger of flying through a rotor-swept area of a turbine, the camera system and the computer system talk to each other. Our SCADA curtailment system and that camera have direct line of communication. If the camera system believes an eagle is at risk of a collision, it will curtail a turbine. Now, this is an incredibly complicated system with a high success rate. Identiflight does this calculation and this projection and curtailment in less than 30 seconds. That is an incredible improvement upon the 5 minutes it was taking our human observers on their worst days. By utilizing data science and these awesome tools, we are able to save a lot more eagles on site. So in closing, thank you for letting me share these 2 projects that Duke Energy is undertaking in order to save avian species. If you have any additional questions or would like more information, please let me know. My email address is on the screen. Thanks again.